Silvia and the ukulele here in Atlanta, Georgia on WRAS radio. And I'm a ukulele player. I'm playing on a soprano ukulele. I moved here from Honolulu to Atlanta. So when people see me playing the ukulele, they expect a lot of island tunes. But here in Atlanta, people don't usually associate Atlanta with the ukulele. So the way I play is influenced by the music here, blues, bluegrass, 1920s talking blues, and hip hop. This first song that I'm going to play is called Birds and Bees, and it's actually inspired by one of the oldest bluegrass standards called Shady Grove. And this is my version. Birds and bees and Blue Ridge trees, wise Cherokee rose, love grows under the oaks of the shady grove. Birds and bees and Blue Ridge trees, get fiddle and garden clothes, love is a needle and thread of the brightest rose. Birds and bees, a pan cast in iron flows, honey and cornbread for two, love grows by the kitchen stove. Birds and bees heed the need to grasp, two are one when two hands clasp, two are one when two hands clasp. Thank you. And that was Birds and Bees, my homage to a bluegrass standard called Shady Grove. So I write a lot of songs about nature and plants. This one is called The Ballad of the Barred Owl, and it's based on a native Georgia bird, the barred owl, which is called the barred owl because it has these lines that make it look like bars. But I also wanted to feature the ukulele in this song. So this song has a lot of barred chords for you musicians out there. Wants you catches a woman's eye. But who does she capture when she sings? And he says, who, 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 who. Who, 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 who. Who wants you? Who wants you? A new song given as a gift and offering conceals with a strength and skill, then goes in for the kill. A log shifts in the fire, a sign from above, sending up sparks shaped like a dove. And he says, who, 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 who. Who, 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 who. Who, 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 who. Who wants you? Who wants you? Who wants you? Listening among the pines, locked eye to eye. The man with the weeping guitar and the woman harmonize. They gave themselves away, moving side by side. And the barred owl soars into the night. And he says, who, 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 who. Who, 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 who. Who, 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 who. Who wants you? Who wants you? Who wants you? Who? Thank you. And that was Ballad of the Barred Owl, based on a native Georgia bird. I really like to play songs about animals and plants. So if you've just joined us on YouTube, I am Silvia on the ukulele. My name is Silvia, which in Latin means forest nymph. I'd like to tell a story about how I got my name. I was born in the Philippines. My grandfather was a forest ranger in the Philippines. And according to the family story, whenever he would come across a village that was not on the government maps, he got to name the village after a woman in the family. So my name, Silvia, forest nymph, comes from my grandfather who was a forest ranger. But this next song is called The Scorpion and the Frog. It's based on an old folk tale, but I've given it a blues spin. Once upon a time, there was a scorpion and a frog. They were creatures of the water. They were creatures of the land. They had a lot in common. fast friends. Also, they were in love. These two met at the bottom of a well. How they got there, it's hard to tell. But when they both started singing, the echo of their song coming out of that well drew the whole village out. And they were saved by a bucket ride out of hell. They were creatures of the water. They were creatures of the land. And they had a lot in common. And they were fast friends. Also, they were in love. One day, the scorpion turned to the frog and said, "I'm tired and I'm hungry." Poor frog. So that's a song about whether or not love changes things, or does inherent nature prevail? So if you've just joined, I'm Silvia on the ukulele, and I write a lot of love songs, but hopefully not traditional ones. This next song is a love letter to the South. This is called Pokeberry Letter, and it's based on a plant that grows here. It's considered a weed. It's called the pokeweed plant, and it plays an important part in Southern history. During the American Civil War, the ink from the pokeweed plant was used to make ink for letters, and soldiers would use this ink to write letters back home, and they were mostly love letters. I would like to send this song out to anybody who's had to tell somebody how they feel about them. It takes a lot of courage. It's Pokeberry Letter. Oh, my dearest one, I'm gonna write you a letter. Berry juice, that southern heat induced, blood red pokeberry juice. I squeezed it from the pokeberry, put it in a crimson jar, and now I'm gonna write that letter, send it from afar. In my soul there's a civil war between the North and the South. My heart and head torn asunder. Love's a battlefield, and I'm going under. who's winning and who's falling short. Either way, there's fatalities. Arrows to the heart, injuries. All the things I want to say, they're all laid bare on the page. And each and every word's a berry stain. But I can no longer refrain. I love you. There, I said it. I love you. Yours, I remain. Yours, yours, yours. And I remain yours, Atlanta, Georgia, WRAS Radio, album 88 and 88 sessions. And if you've just joined us on the live broadcast on YouTube of this concert, leave a comment. Tell us what city you're watching from. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for everyone here in the studio. So that song was called Pokeberry Letter. So I'm Silvia on the ukulele. You can find me on Instagram, but you can also find me on TikTok under Passion Fruit Poetry. I am also a poet, and usually my process is I write my lyrics first as poetry, and then I add the melody to it. This is a poem I wrote about my mother, who called me one day to say that she couldn't find her favorite machete. And this is Machete Mama. Oh, hi Amanda. Machete Mama. Mama with a machete, skirt hitched up past her knees, chopping away at a city jungle with Bruce Lee's expertise. She's moved into the city, to a bungalow in town, cracks coconuts between the eyes, and wears orchids in her crown. Still the tiger she ever was, though the machete is used for cooking. Coconut, ginger, and garlic too. It's steamy in her kitchen. But she never dreams of island life. The pond was too small there. In the city she grows a banana tree. She's made her garden there. And that was Machete Mama. And that she did find her machete. So that poem can be found on my TikTok platform, TikTok at Passion Fruit Poetry. I'm inspired, I find a lot of inspiration from different things. This next song is called Man with the Blue Ukulele, and it was inspired by a Picasso painting that I used to visit all the time at the Art Institute of Chicago, which is another one of my hometowns. And I used to stand in front of the painting and wonder what the man with the blue guitar would have been singing. Of course he would have been singing the blues, they did an x-ray of the painting and they found out that Picasso had painted over another painting. And that painting was a woman with long black hair. Man with the blue ukulele. There's a man with a blue ukulele. In the night, framed in a dark blue light, in shades of blue, with 3 chords, and the truth, he thinks of you, and oh, he's been up since 2, playing the blues, playing the blues, playing the blues. There's a classic on the screen. It's The Big Sleep, with a lady villain and naked women. And he's been up since 2, playing the blues, playing the blues, playing the blues. By his side sleeps a long-haired rescue. She's always faithful. She's his true blue, true blue. There's a man with a blue ukulele. In the night, framed in a dark blue light, in shades of blue, with 3 chords, and the truth, he thinks of you, and oh, he's been up since 2, playing the blues, playing the blues, playing the blues. There's a secret underneath the painting. There's a woman there, but it's getting late. Oh, it's getting late. And she's been up since 2, playing the blues, playing the blues, playing the blues. There's a man with the blue ukulele, and he'd go to any length to be with you. Playing the blues, playing the blues, playing the blues. That was Man with the Blue Ukulele. So these next 2 songs, this next song is called Hurricane Lily, another nature plant, nature-based song. And I'm Silvia on the ukulele. I am a solo singer, singer-songwriter. And I'm playing on a soprano ukulele. have effects or pedals. It's just me, my ukulele, and the microphone. So I have to do my own effects. This is called Hurricane Lily. Driving rain, Hurricane Lily on summer display, turning heads, dressed hard in red, tendril flower on long-legged stems. Like a tropic storm queen, an open bar for butterflies and worker bees. Zzz. Femme fatale. Femme fatale. Hurricane Lily on summer display, before her radiance dissipates. My final song, this song is called Passiflora Incarnata. Thank you WRAS Radio for having me. Thank you Atlanta for embracing a ukulele player in the land of banjos and hip hop and blues. Passiflora Incarnata. Passion fruit in the palm of my hand, from a Georgia vine, a passion plant, from an ancient garden that time forgot. Pick it, forget me or forget me not. Passiflora Incarnata, that's the Latin name. Passion fruit or maypop, it's still the same. The steamy fruit, and it's packing body heat and a head of juice, and it's hot, 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 hot. But in the south, in the Garden of Eden, there's kids running wild with barefoot freedom, playing bullseye with passion bombs, and staring down the barrel of that slingshot arm. Passiflora Incarnata, that's the Latin name. Passion fruit or maypop, it's still the same. Hot from the sun, the steamy fruit, and it's packing body heat and a head of juice. It's a native plant from red clay soil. It's a true medicinal, not impossible. South. Passion fruit for dessert, passion juice for my thirst, passion cream in my dreams, passion in my head. I just might scream. Passiflora Incarnata, that's a Latin name. Passion fruit or maypop, it's still the same. Hot from the sun, the steamy fruit, and it's packing body heat, and a head of juice, and it's hot, hot, hot. Hot, hot, hot. Hot, hot, hot. Passion fruit in the palm of my hand, passion fruit in the palm of my hand. Oh, oh, oh. Thank you, WRAS Radio, Album 88 and 88 Sessions. Thank you for having me. I'm Silvia on the ukulele, and you can find me on www.silviaontheukulele.com. Thank you so much. Yes, stick around for the interview. Thank you, Casey. And in case I forget, thank you, Tema Lauren and Casey and Ricardo and Samaya and Maya? And Amanda. Thank you so much, studio audience.
So, welcome, Silvia. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
Of course.
I was so excited when you emailed me. I'm like, wow, why me? I'm so happy.
Yeah, I think you're amazing. I love what you do. I love how unique you are and your music is.
Oh, thank you.
So I'd love to get to know you a little bit more. I have a couple questions for you. And
And then I'll have a question for you.
Oh. Alrighty. So when did you start making music?
So my story is that during the pandemic, the lockdown happened in March 2020, and like a lot of musicians, and I was just starting out, there was, shock. We couldn't see our friends, we couldn't jam, we didn't know how COVID was gonna be transmitted, so I joined virtual groups, and I started playing ukulele with groups online. And then there was one that was really transformative. It was a 100 Days project, and it's a global arts project, but there was a ukulele subgroup of 7,000 ukulele players around the world. So for 100 days, we were all posting songs on ukulele. And for a lot of the members, for the 100th song, they would write an original. So for my encore, I wrote my first original, and that was in August of 2020. And I haven't turned back since. I've written about 80 songs since then. So that's how I started out during the pandemic.
Okay, that's amazing. How would you describe your music?
I laugh at that because I did this soul-searching exercise, and I think a lot of artists will know about this. I had to open an Instagram account and describe myself in, 120 characters or less. And so I had to say what I was about, and also what genre, which is really hard. I had a set earlier. So when people see me, they assume, oh, island girl, soprano ukulele, she's going to be playing these beach songs and probably some emo coffee shop type love songs. So I had to figure out what category I belonged in. So at first I called myself blues, and then someone called me out on that, and he was right. So I said, yeah, I'm blues influenced. But then I thought about it, and I decided that when I listen to Americana lyrics, I think because I talk a lot about the South and about America and like the passion fruit plant, they have it in Hawaii where I lived, and then here in the South they have it. And it's floral and delicate. But I talk a lot about America, and then in Pokeberry Letter, I talk about the American Civil War and in a love song. So I thought, you know what? I think of all the genres out there, I probably lyrically am more Americana, but I call myself Americana ukulele, so I don't know if that there's anyone else in that category. Um, but I think I am the American story. I transplanted. I was born in the Philippines, then moved to Hawaii, and then back and forth from Chicago to Hawaii, and then I trained as a chef in Hawaii. So then from Hawaii, I moved here to Atlanta, and people think I have been playing ukulele for a long, long time, but it's only been 5 years, and then songwriting since the pandemic, so it's been 2.5 years. So I'm influenced by the South and the sounds from the South, which is blues and bluegrass and the talking blues. There's a style called from the 1920s called the talking blues, and so that's my man with the ukulele starts out talking, and even the old folk tale I did, the scorpion and the frog. That's all talking, and then that influenced my poetry reading, which I fingerpick while I read my poetry. So I decided, well, okay, I am an American story. Americana ukulele is my genre.
Okay, thank you for telling me that. So kind of segueing off my other question, but what was it like being an artist during lockdown?
Oh, it was so lonely, and people were posting like in the beginning on the edges of their bed in their bedroom, and I remember the beginning of the pandemic, and artists were starting to live stream, and how difficult it was. Like people would always, the first thing they would say is this on? Is this on? And that would be their first line on their stream, and it would be recorded. Or they would have it, whatever, up and down instead of landscape, or, or whatever they did. But the hardest thing was being able to read the comments while you were performing, and you would have to shut off in your mentally not look at the comments because it would mess you up while you were trying to record. But now it's like I read the comments as I'm performing, and that actually helped me with when we transitioned from the pandemic live streaming to actual performances. Then when people would come in the room, I'd say, "Hi, Amanda," and it wouldn't bother my performance at all. So, yeah, so from a lonely time, they talk about the silver lining of the pandemic. But I connected to so many musicians. So I had that group, the ukulele group, but I also had a locally based house concert site, and it was called Kimono My House, Virtual House Concerts. And it was virtual, so anybody could have watched it around the world, but a lot of the artists were based out of Atlanta, and coming out of the pandemic, I got to do festivals with these people that I'd met. So, yeah, for some people it was lonely, but for some people it really was a source of new friends.
Okay. So what has being a musician taught you? A musician in Atlanta, and how are you liking Atlanta?
Oh, Atlanta has given me so much. I recently played at Chomp and Stomp, which is a barbecue and bluegrass festival here in Atlanta, and I was so honored to be invited to a bluegrass festival. And here I was, I felt like I was representing the ukulele um, in Atlanta, and that I felt so welcome. And the organizers was telling me that they were really excited to see my set. And I'm like, and then, so that's why I started my set with the song Birds and Bees, because it's based on one of the oldest bluegrass. The melody is taken from the oldest bluegrass standard called Shady Grove. So yeah, I'm just loving Atlanta, and I'm just so grateful for the Atlanta community here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. Um, so, what has been your favorite song to write?
Favorite song to write? Oh, there's so many, but I just alluded to, you know, every song you write is autobiographical, and it also is set in a time and place. So sometimes when I play a song, I remember it's like deja vu. I remember exactly where I was and why I wrote the song. um, Man with the Blue Ukulele reminds me of when I was in college, and one of my majors was art history. So when I would go back home to visit my family in Chicago, I'd go to the Art Institute, and I'd spend so much time in front of that painting, that Picasso painting. And then when I found out there was the X-ray that showed the woman, the young woman, and the old guitarist superimposed one on top of each other, I was like, wow, that is so amazing. What is the relationship? So it's stories like that every time. I get in the groove where, like, it transports me back to where I was when I wrote the song. So, yeah, and then Pokeberry Letter, I remember telling a friend and looking at a pokeberry and telling a friend, oh, well, there's a history to the pokeberry plant. And basically writing the song as I was telling my friends what the pokeberry was about.
That's fascinating. That's amazing. Do you have a process when you're writing music, or a specific ritual?
The process is I'm one of those songwriters that I write my lyrics first because I'm a poet. And I mentioned during the stream that I have a TikTok account, and TikTok at Passion Fruit Poetry, and I read my original poems. I also have another account. It's an worldwide account. It's called allpoetry.com, and I have an account there also called Passion Fruit Poetry. And no, it's called Passiflora Incarnata, which was one of the songs I sang. And so my process is I write the lyrics first, usually, and I might have an idea, but usually the lyrics themselves tell me what kind of groove the song is gonna have, whether it's gonna be bluesy or ballady or finger picking or what it will be. So my process is usually words first.
Okay. What are some of your favorite moments from performing on stage?
Uh, it's such a surreal moment to be on stage. And I guess my favorite moments have been when when I have seen the effect of my songs on people. I remember when I was playing Pokeberry Letter one time at an open mic, and I looked in the audience, and the man and a woman were looking right into each other's eyes, and he reached over for her hand, and I could see him squeezing her hand as though I was singing that song, and I almost wanted to cry because I'm like, wow, it really impacted them. And that's what you hope for as a songwriter or an artist. Is it's not about me or me crying, it's about making you feel something. And so that happened when I was doing Pokeberry Letter. And it's not always about making people cry or whatever, but also when I can get people to dance. And it's like Shakira says, hips don't lie. It's so, it's visceral, it's part of your body. They're not, um, just telling you something nice, they're getting up and dancing or they're nodding their heads. And I saw Casey back there nodding, shaking his head, and then Ricardo too. And I was like, oh, that's so great. Getting people to get up and dance is probably the most affirmative thing you can do for a musician. So whenever my friends are playing, I try to, I get up and dance if I feel like it, because I'm telling them something. Like, I love your music. I'm dancing. And then, I guess, but a moment I'll never forget is the time I was on stage, and the audience started singing my song back to me. And that was like a real wow moment. That was something. That was so surreal. I'll never forget that. And I think that's one of the clips I have on my Instagram account. On one of the buttons under stage, you'll see the clip of that where they're all singing back to me. Oh, and that was the performance where I had a sign language interpreter.
That's amazing.
So she was signing my songs, and I love collaborating. Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, that sounds amazing. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists and students?
For artists and students, for students, I used to teach at the Art Institute of Atlanta in the culinary arts program where I met Amanda. And I taught the resume writing class, and I would tell students, if you're stuck or you're not sure, walk into a bookstore and see what department you end up in, and that'll give you a clue of where your passions lie. So, wherever you are in life or whatever career path you've picked, stay in touch with what you naturally gravitate towards. Find your passion there and stay true to it. That will take you very far.
I think a lot of people definitely needed to hear that. So you're a chef in real life. What do you eat after a gig?
Oh my God, after a gig, it's so hard to eat before a gig because you're kind of nervous and you have to set up everything. And so usually I'm so hungry after a gig, but I'm vegetarian. So, I can't just go to a bar and order a burger or whatever, or all there is are fries. So I have to wait till I go home. And so, if you'll see any of my platforms, I kind of video nonstop. So the last time after a gig, I videotaped myself making ramen noodles one time, and another time I had pizza dough and I was frying it in a pan, and I got so many hits on both of those, and it was just like, what? Why? This is going viral. Why can't my music videos go viral? It's like, come on, people. But yeah, I love to eat. I'm vegetarian, but yeah, ramen, is my favorite, being an island girl.
I love ramen too. All right. So where will you be performing next?
Oh, I'll be performing next on Sunday, December 11. I'll be doing a fundraiser for Toys for Tots, and it is at this wonderful art gallery music venue called Heck House. And I said before, I really love collaborating, so I'll be collaborating there at 4 o'clock, and it'll be a live stream, and it'll be live on my Instagram account. Instagram at Silvia on the ukulele, but also on the YouTube channel for the Heck House at HECKHO, and at 4 o'clock. And I'll be collaborating with a puppeteer, and her name is Heidi Staven Carpenter, and her Instagram account is In Jest Puppets. And you'll see flyers for it on my Instagram, but whenever I meet people and other artists, I think, wow, I can't wait to collaborate, because here I am as a solo artist, but I'm looking into the future as a theatrical performer, ways to do sets differently. I have, a very deep catalog for having only just been writing for 2.5 years, but I have a lot of songs. And so that set that I'll be doing at the Heck House, live streaming, will feature some of my, animal songs. And so Heidi has a lot of animals, so I'm looking forward to that. So I think I mentioned that I've already performed with a sign language interpreter, and I'm get to play with a puppeteer, and I'm talking to someone else who's a hula dancer who's here in Georgia. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to the future and busting out of this solo performer mode and playing with different people backing me and actually forming bands, but definitely collaborating with other people. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you too. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Do you have anything else you'd like to say, or?
Yes, I have a question for you. So the first thing I said to you when I met you was, how did you find out about me? So could you tell the other musicians and students out there, all the artists out there, how you found me?
Okay, sure. So I was just going through Instagram. I think I searched local Atlanta artists on the hashtags, and I was just sifting through, and I found your page, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. I love that you play the ukulele and you sing your poetry, and that's how I found you. Yeah, just through Instagram hashtags or through TikTok. Just any social media is your best friend, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the takeaway from that is that Atlanta musician or Atlanta was the search word.
That was
So
the key. Yeah.
yeah, so
Atlanta.
again, I'd like to thank Atlanta for having such a powerful hashtag. And I owe hashtag Atlanta musician all this. So thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for performing here. Yeah, thank you for letting me host you. Well, that's it, everyone. Just to recap, so Silvia will be performing at Heck House in Scottsdale, Georgia, on Sunday, December 11th at 4 p.m. EST, live streaming on YouTube at Heck Ho. And you can find Silvia on Instagram at Silvia on the Ukulele. Her songs Birds and the Bees will be out soon on Spotify. And yeah, just check her out. She's an amazing artist. Alrighty, good night, everyone. Thank you for watching.